Have you ever stopped to wonder what your money is really costing you? Not just in dollars, but in hours, energy, and the life you'll never get back? In Your Money or Your Life, Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez reveal the hidden truths behind our relationship with money and how the choices we make every day can either trap us or set us free. Get ready to see money in a whole new way and discover the first steps toward a life that truly aligns with your values. Have you ever stopped to wonder what your money is really costing you? Not just in dollars, but in hours, energy, and the life you'll never get back? Section 1. Awakening to the Money Trap. We step into Your Money or Your Life by Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez with a simple but unsettling truth. Most of us are caught in a money trap. From the moment we begin school, we are subtly handed a roadmap for how life is supposed to unfold. Work hard in your studies, get good grades, land a secure job, climb the ladder, buy the house, raise the family, collect the benefits, and, eventually, enjoy retirement. It sounds reasonable, even promising, a path of stability and achievement. Yet, beneath its polished surface, this roadmap conceals a trap that ensnares millions of people, leaving them exhausted, dissatisfied, and endlessly chasing after more. At the heart of this trap is an unspoken exchange. Our money is not just paper or digital numbers in a bank account. It is life energy. Every dollar earned represents hours of your time, effort, and vitality. Time that could have been spent with loved ones, resting, creating, or simply living. Yet, in the old roadmap, this truth is rarely acknowledged. We treat money as though it exists outside of ourselves, when in reality, it is the distilled essence of our lives. This trap begins innocently. We get the job, we earn the paycheck, and with it, we step onto the treadmill of consumption. Advertisements whisper that our worth is measured by what we own. Peers and neighbors unconsciously pressure us to keep up, to upgrade, to match the pace of endless comparison. Before long, work no longer feels like a choice, but an obligation. We trade more and more of our life energy for things that, while shiny in the moment, rarely deliver lasting fulfillment. The irony is that the old roadmap promises freedom, financial security, social status, comfort, but it rarely provides it. Instead, it binds us with invisible chains, long hours at jobs we may not love, debts that weigh us down, and a gnawing sense of emptiness that grows no matter how much we earn or spend. Many people reach midlife and realize they have done everything society asked of them, only to feel a quiet despair. Is this all there is? The authors call this realization awakening to the money trap. It is that moment when you pause, look at your life, and recognize that your relationship with money is not working. Maybe it's the stress of living paycheck to paycheck, the endless cycle of credit card debt, or the dull ache of spending years in a job that drains you. Perhaps it's the constant chase for a promotion, a bigger house, or the latest gadget, only to feel unsatisfied once the novelty fades. Whatever form it takes, this awakening is the first step toward freedom. The brilliance of Robin and Dominguez lies in naming what is often invisible. That the old roadmap is not natural, not inevitable. It is a social construct. It was built from cultural norms, advertising, and inherited beliefs, and it can be dismantled. Once you see money as life energy, every financial decision takes on new meaning. That coffee, that car, that extra shift at work, all of it becomes a conscious exchange of your limited vitality. Suddenly, the trap is illuminated, but awareness alone is not enough. The power of this book lies in its promise that by carefully examining and transforming our relationship with money, we can step out of the trap and into a life of purpose, freedom, and fulfillment. Section 1 sets the stage for this journey. It asks us to look honestly at where we are, to notice the ways the old roadmap has guided us, and to begin questioning whether that map truly leads where we want to go. Awakening to the money trap is uncomfortable, even painful, but it is also liberating. It is the first crack in the walls of unconscious living. With awareness, comes the possibility of change. From here, the journey begins, not toward accumulating more, but toward aligning our money, our time, and our energy with what truly matters. Section 2. How society conditions our money beliefs. If Section 1 is about awakening to the trap, Section 2 is about understanding how we got here in the first place. Why do so many intelligent, hardworking people follow the same unfulfilling path? The answer lies in conditioning. From childhood, we are immersed in a culture that quietly but powerfully shapes our beliefs about money, work, and success. These beliefs become so ingrained that we rarely stop to question them. Think back to your earliest lessons about money. Perhaps you heard phrases like, "money doesn't grow on trees," or "you have to work hard to get ahead." These messages, though well-meaning, established an association between worthiness, effort, and financial reward. School reinforced this with a system designed to prepare us for employment. Show up on time, complete the tasks, follow instructions, and you will be rewarded. It was less about nurturing curiosity or individuality, and more about training us to participate in the economic machine. As we grew older, advertising stepped in. Modern marketing is not about selling products, it is about selling identity. Every commercial, billboard, and social media ad whispers the same message: you are incomplete until you buy this. Cars promise status, clothes promise confidence, technology promises connection, vacations promise happiness. The message is relentless, and over time, we internalize the belief that consumption is the path to fulfillment. To buy is to be, and to be is to buy. Add to this the pressure of social comparison. We look to neighbors, colleagues, and peers for cues on how we should be living. If someone drives a newer car, takes exotic vacations, or owns a larger house, we feel the subtle tug of inadequacy. Without realizing it, we step into the race of keeping up, a race with no finish line, because there will always be someone with more. This social pressure fuels the trap, binding us to the belief that success means accumulation. Perhaps the most dangerous belief instilled by society is the myth of deferred living. We are told, "Work hard now, and one day you can enjoy life." This narrative convinces us to sacrifice the present for a future that may never arrive. We endure long commutes, draining workdays, and missed moments with loved ones, all in the name of someday. But life energy is finite. The hours we trade today cannot be reclaimed tomorrow. The cost of deferred living is not just financial, it is emotional, spiritual, and relational. The authors point out that this conditioning works so well because it operates invisibly. We think we are making choices, but in reality, many of those choices are responses to cultural programming. Without awareness, we live on autopilot, following scripts written for us by advertisers, educators, and societal expectations. The old roadmap thrives because it convinces us that there is no alternative, that this is simply the way life is. But here's the turning point. Once you see the conditioning, you can no longer be controlled by it. Awareness shatters the illusion. When you recognize that the urge to upgrade your phone is not a personal need, but a programmed desire, you create space for choice. When you see that working 60 hours a week for prestige is not inevitable, but a cultural script, you gain the freedom to rewrite the story. Section 2 asks us to step back and observe the powerful forces shaping our relationship with money. It challenges us to name the beliefs we have inherited, to question whether they serve us, and to decide consciously what values will guide our lives. This process is not easy. It can feel like swimming against the current of an entire culture. But with each step of awareness, we reclaim ownership of our time, energy, and choices. By uncovering how society conditions our beliefs about money, we begin to see the money trap for what it truly is. Not a personal failure, but a cultural system designed to keep us working, spending, and striving endlessly. And once we see the system clearly, we can begin to step outside of it. Section 3. Money as Life Energy. Up until now, we've explored the trap and the conditioning that keeps us inside it. But in this section, the authors introduce the single most powerful shift in perspective, the key that unlocks the entire framework of your money or your life. That key is seeing money not as paper, not as digital numbers, not even as wealth, but as life energy. Think about it for a moment. Each time you go to work, you trade hours of your existence for a paycheck. Behind every dollar you earn are minutes, hours, sometimes days of your one precious life. Your energy, your focus, your vitality, all distilled into currency. When you hold money in your hand, you are holding a piece of your past, the time and effort you can never get back. This realization transforms money from something abstract into something deeply personal. If money is life energy, then every spending choice becomes more significant than we typically acknowledge. That daily coffee isn't just $3. It's a fraction of an hour of your life. That car payment isn't just another bill. It's dozens of hours at work, time away from family, time drained from your spirit. When you begin to calculate not just the dollar cost, but the life energy cost of your purchases, the entire landscape of your financial life shifts. Suddenly, is this worth it? Becomes more than a budgeting question. It becomes a question about how you want to spend your limited time on Earth. This reframing is radical because it pierces through the illusion society has built around money. Most people think in terms of numbers: income, expenses, budgets, savings. But numbers alone are detached, sterile, and easy to manipulate. Life energy, on the other hand, is real. You feel it when you're tired after a long shift. You feel it when you drag yourself out of bed for a job that drains you. You feel it in the stress that lingers after unpaid bills or the dread of Monday morning. Connecting money to life energy grounds your financial reality in the most honest currency of all, your lived experience. The authors suggest that this shift does more than make you conscious. It empowers you. When you see money as life energy, you begin to reclaim control over how you spend it. You realize you can trade fewer hours of your life for more meaning, more joy, more freedom. You start to ask deeper questions. Do I really want to work 60 hours a week for this lifestyle? Do I really want to give up precious evenings with my children for a new car? Do I truly need this purchase if it costs me hours of my life? These questions invite you to align your spending with your deepest values rather than with external pressures. Of course, making this shift takes courage. It requires you to look honestly at your current trade-offs. For some, this means confronting the reality that most of their life energy is being drained by work they don't love. For others, it means realizing that much of their spending doesn't truly bring joy or satisfaction. This honesty can sting at first. But the discomfort is also the doorway to freedom. Because once you see the truth, you can choose differently. Money as life energy is not just a philosophical idea, it is also practical. Later in the book, the authors will guide us through exercises to calculate exactly how much life energy each dollar costs, factoring in not only hours worked, but also the hidden costs: commuting, wardrobe, stress, and recovery. This calculation often reveals that what we think we earn per hour is far less than the reality. And once you know the real cost, you can make clearer, wiser decisions about how to live. Section 3 is the heart of Chapter 1. It asks us to stop treating money as a cold abstraction and to start treating it as the essence of our lives. Every dollar represents a choice about how we use our time, how we direct our energy, and how we shape the story of our lives. With this perspective, money becomes a mirror, reflecting back whether we are living in alignment with our values or drifting further from them. Ultimately, this realization is both sobering and empowering. Sobering, because it reveals how much of our precious energy may already have been wasted in unconscious spending. Empowering, because it shows us that every moment forward is a chance to choose differently. By honoring money as life energy, we lay the foundation for financial independence, intentional living, and the possibility of a truly fulfilled life. Section 4, First Steps Toward Freedom. As we begin to recognize the trap and the emotional cost it exacts, the next natural step is to explore how freedom can be reclaimed. This is not about chasing a sudden windfall or waiting for some magical moment of financial luck. True freedom emerges from conscious choices, from understanding the value of our time and energy, and from aligning our daily actions with our deepest values. The first steps toward freedom are small, intentional, and profoundly transformative. The journey begins with awareness. Awareness is more than noticing where your money goes. It is understanding what each expenditure truly costs in life energy. How many hours of your life did it take to earn that paycheck? How much of that life energy disappears in stress, commute, and obligations? When you examine spending in these terms, trivial purchases suddenly become significant decisions, and large expenses demand careful consideration. Awareness transforms money from an abstract number into a tangible reflection of your life choices. Next comes evaluation. Once you know how your energy is being spent, you can evaluate whether each expense aligns with your values. Does this purchase bring real satisfaction? Does it contribute to your long-term well-being, your relationships, or your personal growth? Or is it simply a reaction to cultural programming, peer pressure, or fleeting desire? By evaluating your expenses through the lens of purpose rather than habit or impulse, you begin to reclaim control over your life and energy. Simplification is the third step. Often, the path to freedom is blocked by unnecessary complexity. Subscriptions we forget about, debt payments that linger, possessions that require maintenance and attention. Streamlining life reduces mental clutter, minimizes wasted energy, and frees resources for what truly matters. Simplification is not about deprivation, it is about removing distractions so you can focus on what brings joy, meaning, and fulfillment. Another crucial element is gratitude. Recognizing the true value of what we already have reshapes our perspective. Instead of constantly seeking the next upgrade, we learn to appreciate what sustains and nourishes us. Gratitude for our home, our health, our relationships, and the time we have allows us to break the endless cycle of more and fosters contentment with the present. When combined with awareness and evaluation, gratitude becomes a tool for mindful living. Budgeting, in this framework, takes on new significance. It is no longer a dry exercise in numbers, it is a reflection of values. Instead of tracking spending merely to avoid running out of money, you track it to see whether your life energy is being invested wisely. Each dollar spent is a conscious decision, a vote for the kind of life you want to live. This mindset transforms budgeting from a chore into a practice of self-knowledge and intentional living. Finally, freedom requires courage. It is tempting to continue on the old roadmap because it feels safe and familiar. But stepping off the well-worn path demands bravery. It requires questioning societal norms, resisting the pull of comparison, and making choices that may seem unconventional. The reward, however, is immense: clarity, autonomy, and a life increasingly aligned with what truly matters. The first steps toward freedom are ongoing. They are not about instant transformation, but about building habits that gradually shift the balance of life energy toward conscious, meaningful living. Awareness, evaluation, simplification, gratitude, mindful budgeting, and courage form a foundation. Together, they allow individuals to reclaim time, energy, and focus, resources far more precious than money itself. By taking these steps, you begin to break free from the cycle of unconscious consumption and start living intentionally. You begin to see that money is not simply a tool for survival or status. It is a mirror reflecting your priorities, your values, and the life you are creating. The path to freedom is practical, actionable, and available to anyone willing to look honestly at their life and take responsibility for the energy they spend each day. Section 5. The emotional cost of the old roadmap. So far, we've seen how the old roadmap traps us in endless cycles of earning and spending, and how society conditions us to believe this is normal. We've also reframed money as life energy, the core of our existence. But now we must look at the toll this trap takes on our emotional and spiritual well-being. Because the cost of the old roadmap is not measured only in dollars or even in hours. It is measured in stress, anxiety, disconnection, and an ever-present sense of dissatisfaction. When you spend your days working at a job that doesn't align with your values, the price is more than fatigue. It is the slow erosion of your spirit. Day after day, you drag yourself out of bed, pour your energy into tasks that may not matter to you, and collapse at night wondering if life is supposed to feel this way. Over time, this grind wears down not just your body, but your sense of purpose. Many people live in a quiet state of resignation, telling themselves this is just what adulthood looks like. But beneath the surface, they feel drained, stuck, and deeply unfulfilled. Debt amplifies this emotional burden. When your paycheck is already spoken for by credit cards, loans, or mortgages, freedom feels distant. Instead of enjoying what you earn, you live under a constant weight of obligation. Every bill becomes a reminder that your time is not your own, that the hours of your life are already promised to someone else. The stress of debt can infiltrate every area of life, relationships, health, even sleep. It creates a background hum of anxiety that never quite fades. Then there's the treadmill of more. The old roadmap tells us that happiness lies just beyond the next milestone. A bigger salary, a better title, a larger home, the latest device. And for a moment, when we achieve or acquire it, we feel a spark of satisfaction. But soon, the feeling fades and the goalpost moves. This phenomenon, known as the hedonic treadmill, keeps us running endlessly, always striving, never arriving. The emotional toll is a constant sense of inadequacy, as though no matter what we accomplish, it's never enough. Relationships suffer as well. When life energy is funneled primarily into work and consumption, there is less left for loved ones. Time with family and friends becomes fragmented, overshadowed by exhaustion or financial stress. The pursuit of material success often pushes connection to the margins, even though relationships are one of the strongest sources of joy and fulfillment. Many people wake up years later to realize they have sacrificed deep connections for the sake of careers and possessions that brought only fleeting satisfaction. There is also the hidden cost of deferred living. The cultural script tells us to endure the grind now in exchange for a future payoff, retirement. Yet deferring joy is a dangerous gamble. Some never make it to that golden horizon. Others arrive only to find that decades of stress and overwork have left them too depleted to enjoy it. The old roadmap teaches us to postpone our lives, but in doing so, it robs us of the very moments that make life rich. The emotional cost of the money trap is not always dramatic. Often, it shows up as a low-level dissatisfaction, a nagging feeling that something is missing. It's the sigh as you sit in traffic, the tension in your shoulders as bills pile up, the subtle envy when someone seems freer than you. These daily signals are easy to dismiss, but together they reveal a profound truth. The old roadmap does not nurture the human spirit. It depletes it. Robin and Dominguez remind us that acknowledging this cost is not about blame. It's about clarity. When we see the toll clearly, we can no longer pretend the trap is harmless. We can no longer justify the stress, the disconnection, and the emptiness as just the way life is. Awareness of the emotional cost becomes motivation to change. It becomes the fuel to seek a new path, one that values joy, presence, and connection as much as it values security. This is a wake-up call. It asks us to look honestly at how the old roadmap affects not just our bank accounts, but our hearts and minds. It invites us to feel the weight of stress, the ache of disconnection, and the exhaustion of deferred living, and to admit that this is too high a price to pay. Only when we see the full emotional cost can we truly commit to building a life that honors our energy, our values, and our humanity. Section 6. A New Beginning. As we conclude this chapter, it is time to embrace the possibility of a new beginning. Understanding the money trap, recognizing the emotional costs, and taking the first steps toward freedom sets the stage for a transformation that extends far beyond finances. A new beginning is not about a single change or dramatic gesture. It is about creating a life rooted in awareness, intention, and alignment with your deepest values. The first element of this new beginning is perspective. You now have a framework to see money not as an end, but as a means, a reflection of life energy, a measure of the time and effort invested, and a mirror of priorities. This shift in perspective is liberating. Every financial decision becomes a conscious choice rather than a reflexive habit. You begin to understand that the hours you dedicate to earning, the purchases you make, and the savings you accumulate are all votes for the life you are building. Next comes alignment. Freedom is meaningless if it is not aligned with purpose. A new beginning invites you to examine what truly matters: relationships, creativity, health, learning, and contribution, and to let these priorities guide decisions about how you earn, spend, and invest your life energy. When actions are aligned with values, stress diminishes, satisfaction grows, and each day carries meaning beyond the accumulation of material wealth. Action is the third component. Knowledge alone does not create change. Transformative action requires commitment, tracking expenses, evaluating life energy costs, simplifying routines, and making intentional choices that support purpose. These steps, while practical, have profound emotional and spiritual impact. They signal a conscious departure from the old roadmap and a commitment to living on your terms. Every small, deliberate action reinforces autonomy and fosters a sense of empowerment. Reflection and feedback form the fourth pillar. A new beginning is an iterative process. Periodically pausing to reflect on your choices, habits, and feelings allows you to assess whether your energy is being invested wisely. Are your decisions bringing satisfaction, freedom, and alignment with values? Are there hidden drains or unconscious patterns that need attention? This reflective practice ensures that freedom is maintained and deepened over time, transforming the journey from a one-time intervention into a lifelong habit of mindful living. The fifth element is resilience. Change is rarely linear, and breaking free from the old roadmap will encounter challenges. Financial pressures, social expectations, and ingrained habits will test resolve. Developing resilience, both emotional and practical, ensures that setbacks do not derail progress. Resilience is nurtured through awareness, self-compassion, and a clear vision of the life you want to create. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen commitment rather than a reason to revert to old patterns. Finally, this new beginning is about freedom in its fullest sense, reclaiming time, energy, and choice. It is about creating a life in which money serves you rather than controls you. It is about finding joy, purpose, and meaning in the daily exchange of life energy. By taking the insights from understanding the trap, the conditioning, the emotional cost, and the first steps of freedom, you are equipped to rewrite your story. You are no longer bound by the old roadmap. You are authoring a life of conscious, intentional, and deeply fulfilling living. This new beginning also prepares the way for what comes next. With clarity on values, alignment of energy, and practical steps toward freedom, the next phase focuses on mastering the tools and principles to sustain this intentional life. Every choice now carries greater significance. Every hour of work or spending becomes a deliberate act, and the possibility of financial independence becomes real. By embracing a new beginning, you set the foundation for a life that honors your energy, your purpose, and your humanity. It is a life in which money is no longer a trap, but a tool for intentional living. And as you continue this journey, you will discover that financial freedom is not simply about accumulation. It is about reclaiming your life, designing it thoughtfully, and living it with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. That wraps up Your Money or Your Life. We've explored how the old roadmap drains our time, energy, and spirit, and how recognizing money as life energy allows us to take the first steps toward freedom. Now, as we move into Money Ain't What It Used to Be, we'll examine how the value and meaning of money have changed, why our old assumptions may no longer serve us, and how understanding this shift can help us live more intentionally, aligned with what truly matters.